Scottish football is in the cold. A year of humiliation in Europe for our top clubs, and Scotland's failure to qualify for this year's World Cup has brought into sharp focus the state of our national game. In the coming days, former First Minister Henry McLeish will deliver a wide-ranging report into Scottish football. Youth football is expected to feature prominently. It's the key area for shaping the future of the sport in Scotland. But who bears the responsibility for youth football is a complex issue.
People point the finger at the SFA constantly, which is fine, because you always point the finger at somebody so we can take it. We're used to that. But we don't have any governance over what we do with young kids. We have no governance at all. The game they play, the times they go to school, we have no governance over them whatsoever. So for us to make a difference, it must be in partnership with clubs, schools, local authorities, or whoever has got children in their care. And we're happy to do so. We're happy to listen to good practice and see how we can help.
Responsibility lies with a whole range of bodies to develop the footballers of tomorrow. There's the youth, juniors, amateurs, women's and welfare associations, local and national government and schools, and the Scottish Premier League and Football League clubs too. Without cooperation, the Scottish Football Association can't implement positive changes.
Our biggest job is, of course, coach education. We're involved in that quite a lot. We have got one or two programmes and projects going together with Scottish Youth FA, the Scottish Women's, the Scottish Juniors. We run things. We do an awful lot of diversion activities with the government, and that's just to get kids to get involved in football as a diversion from any other things that they may get up to. We have great partnerships with local authorities throughout Scotland, a community programme. So that's another area we get involved in. Again, that's just to give kids a chance to kick a ball about, no matter what their age or their standard of play is. The development of the elite players at this minute in time lie with our professional clubs. That's where it lies. The full responsibility of developing elite players is theirs.
One club has picked up the youth torch and lit the way for others. Hibernian paid for their state-of-the-art £4.9 million training centre from the sales of talented young players like Gary O'Connor, Kevin Thompson and Scott Brown.
We've been successful, without the facilities initially. But the facilities being as they are now, we're looking to go into greater things, produce even more players and produce players of a higher standard, more all-round players. We've now got access to train inside whenever it's windy or it's particularly inclement weather. Today, in the past few weeks with the snow, we would have been having to hire centres, we would have been having to look for places, we would have been having to travel in bad conditions in the bus. So really, we're just stepping in here. First team can come in, they can train for an hour and a half, they can come out, we can go in, or we can mix in with them. The options are great. It's a smallish area, but it's a fantastic asset to have this.
Scottish footballers have often been accused of lacking the technical skills required to match up to the rest of the world. Alistair assures me that improving these attributes is central to the development of Hibs youngsters.
Most of our training it's all surrounding technique, touch, move the ball, pass it, be comfortable on the ball, everything, make them athletic. We're just trying to make a more-rounded footballer, but the base is their first touch, their comfort on the ball, their competitive side's going to be there as well, obviously. Attitude's got to be healthy. We try and teach good lifestyles and respect and everything that's positive, and I think that's why we've probably been quite successful. People enjoy being here.
Last season, Hibernian won the league and cup double at under-19 level. Some of the victorious side have already made the step up to the first team.
You've got to be confident in your own ability to make that step. I felt that I was confident enough to come in and play with the big boys, as they say. You get a lot of experience just training with them. The tempo of the game and the ability they've got just to pass the ball and their movement. You do get that big step up, but you can take it. I would encourage anyone to take it. But yeah, it's a great feeling coming into this training centre with the facilities that we've got, and the gaffer likes to fire that into you, that you should wake up every morning and be happy to come into training and get enthusiastic and want to go out there and train the best of your ability, as you should do on a game day. So he just wants you to do well. Wants everyone to do well. He wants to take Hibs to a higher level.
Other clubs are playing catch-up with the Hibernian model. Aberdeen see their future in nurturing their own players. Peter Weir runs Aberdeen's satellite training centre in Glasgow.
We're looking for the best players between Glasgow, Aberdeen. We've got an Edinburgh centre. We don't do a lot of team shaping, but it's all about individual players hoping that they get through the system. At the end of the day, they go full time at Aberdeen. Aberdeen are a club that, yeah, you want to win, of course you do, but at the younger level, it's more about development. You know, to get players, to push them through, to enjoy the football at a young age, to let them be comfortable with the ball, skills, very important. When they get to the 14, 15, 16, that's when it becomes very serious, because at the end of the day, as I say, we're trying to get as many possible to go full time at Aberdeen.
Peter readily admits that there is a skills gap in Scottish football, but is determined that her clubs are addressing the issue.
There's no doubt there's not enough individual skills. You know, when you look back 20, 30 years ago, the amount of players there were that could beat players and cross balls and get by players, and you know, it was a fantastic thing then. Even for the crowd, I'm sure you've heard many a player for that time. We practiced every single day, 8 hours a day. Now we're trying to cram in 6 and 7 hours a week. You know, and we know it's not enough. We know for a fact it's not, and we're hoping that the lads will go away after they're doing their homework, and obviously the later nights, that they go and practice with a ball, because at the end of the day, we want to see the skill back in the game.
One area where football has moved forward over the past decade is in sports science. Neil McFarlane is a specialist in this area and works with Aberdeen's young players to develop physical attributes.
I think across Europe and especially with the SFA, there's a big drive to try and include more sports science provision, not dictating to the clubs what kind of training, whether they need to do strength and conditioning work, but making them realise they have to have something in line to make sure that they do try to develop physical fitness, physical development, physical performance in players, as well as the football, making sure that they reduce the risk of injury, make sure that they develop a good understanding of their own physical development, their own nutritional requirements, their own training requirements, to try and give them the best chance, if they become a professional player, of having a long career.
With the controversial scrapping of the SPL Reserve League, the Under-19 League has suddenly become the main breeding ground for talented youngsters to emerge. However, some coaches are concerned that new compensation laws do not go far enough to prevent bigger clubs poaching their best young players on the cheap.
You've had players like Ryan Jack, obviously Fraser Fyvie and Peter Pollitt recently, who have been at the club for a long time, a number of years, and a few clubs after them. And we're delighted that they've decided to come for us, but if a club comes in and offers them big money, then we could lose them quite easily. And again, if that starts to happen, then I think it would be really unfair for the clubs that are putting a lot of money and time in developing them players. So I think really there should be a big compensation to protect clubs losing their players.
There's a lot of negativity about our game, but positive changes are being made in youth football. Facilities are improving. There's a renewed focus on player and coach development, and with money tight, clubs are investing what they have into their youth programmes. For them, it's the best way to ensure financial prosperity. With continuing investment, time and patience, Scottish football can enjoy a bright future.
I'm seeing so many good things. I know that some of the clubs are now going to invest and appoint someone working full-time in technique. Now they've got 22 of them in England, they've got 16 of them in Denmark, they've got 9 of them in Sweden. The Scottish FA have had none, zilch. Scottish clubs have had nil. Now we know that because we're working this technique programme, we've been training them up, and now the clubs can see the benefit of it, and now they're going to put these guys in, and I'm thinking, wow, great change. We're now working with kids at schools every single day of the week. And again, that's something that's never happened in Scotland before. We're then going to go for a player pathway in Scotland for the first time ever. We're now going to have a pathway with 4-a-side, 7-a-side and 11-a-side, age grouped, right age bands. So that's coming in. And of course, life's always sweet for me, and it should be sweet for everybody in Scotland. So.